Frank Bay Boxing Talk live, little Wednesday night, right? Damn, Mexico lost. America's out. Are people still watching soccer? World Cup? Yeah, man, a little disappointed. Salute Eric Gomez, Bomb Squad. Salute Chilaquiles, Impala. We all know this Joker's soft. I know, right? Abba Zabba Mason. He's next. He's next. They're all next, right? But we got Rolly Romero, Tiafimo. Talk about Abba Zabba Mason, right? What else is not really much on the schedule, but let's get to an intro and then we'll be back. That's right, Frank Bay, late at night, you know, got to catch the late night crowd, trying to get on when I can. Thank you very much. Yo, 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 hit the like. We were cooking on BDAs yesterday. Really good show. Diverse, eclectic panel. You know, some people are hating on BDA's new panel, but I'm a fan, right? For obvious reasons. But salute BDA, always keeping it real. Salute Impala, Sacco Bowl. Yeah, man. You know what? I thought I'd do it live, right? You know, I get a chance. There's not really much going on. You know, Mexico is out. It was a little disappointing, man. Yeah, Argentina got, it looks like the Egyptians got the screw job. But, yeah, man, World Cup is I think, how many more weeks? One more week left. Looks like boxing is taking a break. But we got Rolly Romero on the docket versus Tiafimo. Well, in August on pay-per-view. Grotesque. Salute Frank Bay. Salute Pounds. Thank you. Hit the like. Let's see. This is a UFC fighter. Little white chocolate. I forgot her name. I don't ever remember the names. Do you guys ever remember the names? Boots is the truth. He is the truth, right? You know, it remains to be seen. There's news, Oscar's making his rounds about the fight being made. We shall see. Oscar wearing wigs, back to his dressing ways. If you like that kind of thing. Did you guys all watch the fight? It was free on TNT. I will be dropping the link in a little bit. Just wanted to flambe BS stoppage. That's highly debatable. One thing that happened on the TNT broadcast was the open scoring. Are you guys a fan of open scoring? I am not a fan of open scoring. Abdullah Mason won a belt without fighting a cop contender at 135. Truth. Andy on Matchroom. Yes, that is breaking news. FBI are investigating Argentina. Here's the thing about sports, man. Honestly, to be honest, most sports has probably been fixed at one time. Remember the Patriots run, the New York Yankees, and now it's Argentina. It's dollars and cents, man. Whatever makes money. That is that is sports. Boxing for a long time has been run by the mob. That is boxing, right? It used to literally be ran by the mafia. I'm actually watching a great movie, Donnie Brasco. Do you guys remember that movie, Donnie Brasco, Lurky Matador? That's right. Hit the like. I will be dropping the link. You know what? If anybody wants a link, go ahead and hit a 1. Let me know. I will drop it unless you want to just hear me ramble and flambe. Yep. It is. And who's to say it's still not? It looks like the PBC has joined the zone, right? So we got Top Rank and PBC joining the zone. You got Earl Spence and Tim Tszyu coming up. Is that a fight people are looking forward to? Like I said, the boxing schedule is really dry for the next 2 weeks. If you're someone like me that wants to come and talk boxing, you got to think of subjects and things to entertain the people. And it's like, damn, G-Dave, Frank in chat. Thank you, K Mac. That's right. LRB Dead Zone. Yeah, there's that going on. The Dead Zone, it was once called. Nobody's gonna watch an app. There used to be Showtime and HBO, but there's one thing in life that's consistent, and that's change. There will always be change. That's the one thing you can count on, right? Death and taxes, and nothing never stays the same, which is good, right? We were always talking about the other side of the street, A side, B side, right? Remember Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence? It was you're on the other side of the street. Now there's no more excuses. Andy Ruiz did join Matchroom, but it's a little bit. Is it too late for Andy Ruiz? Is he still a threat? What is Andy Ruiz really gonna do at this time? But I wanted to talk about Abba Zaba Abdullah Mason, the young phenom, the young superstar. He showed up, showed out, right? He put on a good performance. But I'm being a little critical on Abdullah Mason. Is he the top dog? Is he one of the top dogs? Did he prove to you that he's a possible man? People have been calling him an all-time great, an ATG, a future superstar in the making. One thing I wanted to add when I was talking on the BDA show, I could see Abdullah Mason being a star, maybe a superstar in a fight. I could see coming down the pipeline, and you guys tell me what I think. And it may be way too early, but what do you think about an Emiliano Vargas? Right, he was on the chief support of Xander Zayas. Emiliano Vargas and Abdullah Mason one day, maybe in 2 years. Could you imagine that fight? How big it could possibly be? Abdullah Mason and Emiliano Vargas. I think that would be another possible, maybe not on a level because of piracy, but what was I thinking? Floyd Mayweather and Oscar De La Hoya. Abdullah Mason and Emiliano Vargas. But Mason obviously is light years ahead of Vargas right now, but Vargas is getting the hype. We just seen him have a stellar performance. Mason's soft like Charmin. Through Matador, you're not a fan of Mason, huh? Again, I was critical of him. One thing I like to do, I like to go and talk in other spaces, and thank you for, you guys can listen to anywhere, anyone, and you're here listening to me, and I really appreciate it. Virgil Ortiz versus Boots in 2027. But I'm like you, I listen to other people in boxing. I listen to Boxing Talk. I go and talk with other, people, and I'm a straight shooter, and I know I have controversial takes. I know that. And I get a lot of pushback and a lot of hate, but I just got to be honest. That's the only thing I can't do is be honest. I don't know how to make up lies and narratives. And I said that I gave him a B minus. Virgil needs a tune-up. Well, Oscar's saying they want to go straight into the fight. And here's why. I thought Albert Bell was a decent fighter. I thought he was a basic fighter, tall, somewhat technical, but he had no real power. Let's be honest. He had no real power. He was not necessarily a threat. He was probably a better matchup than Joe Cordina. But if we're being honest, I don't think he was a scary threat. And I wanted to show you guys something. Hopefully I can find it real quick for you guys. Rolly. Are you guys excited about that? Albert Bell was a journeyman. He wasn't a journeyman. He had gotten his shot. They said that people are avoiding him. I don't know how much is true. One of the reasons he fell off was because he was boring. He was boring. That's why he never really got an opportunity. Albert Bell's a journeyman. Yeah, I mean, look, he could possibly be a champion one day, but I want to give you guys the perspective, right? And here it is. If you guys can see it. What were the odds on Mason versus Bell? Abdullah Mason was a minus 500 favorite going into the contest, while Albert Bell made his way into the ring at 7-2, basically plus 350 with the odd makers. So, Joe Cordina, Joe Cordina was a 10-1 underdog. So Joe Cordina was supposed to get mopped up, and that was supposed to be a homecoming fight for Abdullah Mason to look good, right? To prop him up, make him look spectacular. It didn't happen. It was on Egypt down bad. Are they playing right now? I was trying to find it. Damn. Oh, you mean because they got screwed? Yeah. Weren't they up 2-0? I mean, everybody's talking about it now. I guess they're saying that there's an investigation going on. It's a lot of shenanigans. But hey, that's pro sports, man. When there's that much money, people are betting. All they do is promote betting. That's going to happen. I learned a long time ago that, sports is it's entertainment. They tell you that in the clauses, right? It's entertainment. So take that for what it's worth, right? Does it mean it's on the level? I don't know, man. Johan Vasquez dropped Mason twice. So if you can see the screen, let me bring it up for you a little bit more. I know sometimes it's harder to see, but here it is. If you guys could see a little bit better, Abdullah Mason was a minus 500. Okay. So that lets you know that Mason, that people did not think too highly of Mason. In fact, he had never even been 12 rounds. And he was outboxing Abdullah Mason for the first 6 rounds. Watching the fight, I will drop, I'm going to drop the link right now. Usually I don't, but at this time, I think people want to talk. So I'm going to drop it. I'm going to post it. And you can talk about whatever you want. I'm just going to talk about the fight. Talking on BDA's show. Go like, subscribe to him. We were cooking on there, flambeing. The link is in the chat. Hit the like. I am pinning it. So anybody, come one, come all, is welcome. Just don't be a hater. Dead Zone, the takeover for takeover 2 voice. What? I didn't get that, but yeah, the Dead Zone. That's the other big news. We will get to that. So Abdullah Mason was a minus 500 favorite. And for people who don't bet, that just means he was a heavy favorite. When you talk about Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford, people said Canelo Alvarez, he's going to steamroll. He's the favorite. But the Vegas odds makers didn't see it that way. And there's a reason why. There's a reason why they had it almost a damn near even money fight. Because Terrence Crawford was going to be competitive. When, and I was telling you guys, when Ban Rodriguez faced Antonio Vargas, even though he was moving up a weight class, fighting a bigger guy, he was still a 9-1 favorite, almost a 10-1 favorite, which means Antonio Vargas really had no chance. And when I say give him a B minus, that's what I'm judging on. Dude, this was supposed to be a layup. This was supposed to be a homecoming fight. This was supposed to make you look spectacular and look great. And it actually kind of did. Look, Top Rank is very good at managing their prospects. Thank you, Eric Gomez. Africans for Frank Bay. Everybody for Frank Bay. And in fact, hit the like, subscribe, share, tell everybody. Don't be a hater. Mason versus Cordina probably got canceled because Cordina was probably coming to win against Mason. More DC? I like the way you think because I kind of think that too. I don't know. I mean, look, I'm not saying that anything happened, but it looks like they're still going to go through with that fight. And it's really to protect Mason more. See, you got to think about it. A lot of people, when they're talking about Abdullah Mason, they say, "Oh, well, he's still young. He's still young. He's only 23." I go, "Yeah, but he's a champion, and once you have the belt, you're expected to do more. You're no longer in contender status. You're no longer in prove it. You're in proven. Now you have to really prove it. That's what it is, right? Boxing is a show me sport, right? It is a show me now. Don't tell me, show me. And fans, BDA brought up a great point. He said, it'd be different if you had these performances if they fought more often. But if he's only going to fight 2 or 3 times, he's going to be expected to take on the best of the best. There's no tune-ups or give-me's. And when you only have those, when you get in, put in tough, and you're only fighting 2 or 3 times, you're expected to put on a performance, to look great, especially as someone that is a big underdog, right? I'm sorry, that's just what's expected. if you're not fighting as often. So here is his division. This is what no wait. Let's see. Let's go to his division. Cordina had visa issues because of an assault charge, apparently. Yeah, no, I understand that. But what Morb DC is, he's insinuating that that could be a little theater, right? A little theater. I don't know. I mean, I take anything people say seriously, right? Like, I mean, it's possible. Who knows? And if he ends up fighting Cordina still, that just lends credence that something, could have happened. Fanon said that Al Heyman buy the zone. What? That Al Heyman bought the zone? Ay, man. These people in their conspiracy theory, right? Holy shit. Well, that's the world we live in, right? So here it is. Here is the rankings. The Ring magazine is vacant, right? So at the top, they still have Stevenson at 135. That's crazy. Yeah, Murataya, Zapata, Mason, Cruz, Schofield, Noakes, Body, Herrera, and Cordina. Albert Bell was not in here. So he wasn't really considered one of the top guys. That's just a reality. That's life, pal. Yeah. You beat somebody up, you can't make it to your fight. That's life, pal. Hey, don't hit people, right? You're a boxer too. You probably shouldn't be hitting people. But Abdullah Mason, yes, he's 23, but now he's expected to take on the top dogs. There is no more babysitting for him. Callum Monk, Cordina is a dumbass making all that money and still acting a fool. Hey, man, you can take the homeboy out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the homeboy. Maybe Cordina's really thugging it out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's still thug life. He's a fighter. Like Rocky said, I'm a fighter, Adrian. That's why you married me. I don't really do great impressions. The link is in the chat. Hit the like. Egypt blew it. Or were they blown? Or was somebody blown to have them blow it? If you know what I mean. Hey, man, it's sports. People choke. Some people say it's rigged. I don't know, man. It's sports. That's why we watch. It's the theater of the unknown. Just like boxing, right? People think there was a bad stoppage. Jor Cordina is 10th. He is 10th in the rankings. But my argument was Abdullah Mason, had he fought a better boxer, he would have lost that night. And it just kind of gives me a chance to judge his pedigree. Giovanni Cabrera was probably coming to win against Abdullah Mason, and Jay Prince canceled the fight. Very suspicious. Was that? Yeah, I think that was. You know what, more BC? You definitely have a better boxing mind than I have. I am Frank Bay is a one-track mind, right? When people always said that, Frank, you got a one-track mind. I go, you know what? Honestly, I do. I'm not a great multitasker. Mason versus Andy Cruz is the real test. You know, Cali Monk, I was thinking that too. And hit the like, hit the link, subscribe. All sports are rigged and we still watch it. Now, I don't say it's all rigged, but I think when you have that much money on the line, you got to think in sports, right? Basketball, football, baseball, even boxing, right? You really got to think about it. One of the reasons we don't think it's I hate using the word fixed, rigged. We think it's on the level because, well, these guys are making millions. It's like, yeah, but the coaches, the training, the sparring partners, what about the guy that is making he's not making anything and he's riding the bench. He's never going to make millions. You don't think he's tempted? He knows the star player is injured and he can go make a bet. That's why they have these scandals in college football now, because there's so much money invested. It's the backup players, it's the relief pitcher, right? Nobody suspects those guys. You understand what I'm saying? And just like in boxing, somebody was telling a story about Earl Spence. Was it on Earl Spence? Yeah, we were talking about on BDA's show yesterday that one of the sparring partners for Earl Spence knew that he was injured, had a broken rib. And it's like, if you're a sparring partner, you're making $300 a week, and you have this bet, insider. It happens on Wall Street, right? It's called insider trading. But nobody's gonna know you're a sparring partner. Nobody's gonna suspect you. But you go make a couple calls. Can I borrow a few thousand? Hey, mama, take out a loan on the house. I got a sure thing, baby. So it's usually the unsuspecting, right? The backup quarterback, the water boy. People think it doesn't happen because of star players, but it's everybody else around. Frank Bay, aka Mr. FanDuel. Jay Prince always cancels the fights if the opponent is coming to win. Wasn't there a basketball player recently jailed for cheating? Yeah, but it wasn't. I don't know if it was necessarily on basketball, but it was like on online gambling. Callie Monk says to keep it all the way 100. Mason took it easy on Bell because they have good history together. If it was anybody else, I think he would have beat the crap out of him. You know what? We went over that on BDA show too. He played the clip of Mason saying that, and I call cap. I don't buy it. I mean, that's so easy to say. Yeah, I could have scored 30 points. I just didn't want to. Yeah, I could have banged that chick. It was just too easy. I didn't want to. People make excuses. In life, people make excuses. But if that was true, I mean, he didn't stop putting punishment on him. I mean, he didn't stop punching them. So it's a little hard to believe that he took it easy if he went out there and was going out to stop him. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I don't believe it. Really in life, it's about belief. I don't buy it. That's life, pal. Is a pattern I noticed from Jay Prince fighters. Hey, Jay Prince is he's into shady businesses. That's the rumors on the streets. $300 a week, that's nasty work. No, I'm just saying for sparring partners, it's probably more, right? If you're a high caliber prospect or ex-champion, you're like Jerron Ennis helped Canelo Alvarez get ready for his fight against Terrence Crawford. I'm sure he made way more. Canelo takes care of it. But the average sparring partner, I don't think he's not getting rich off being a sparring partner. You know what I mean? So $300, you're in for a couple days. And that happened to Ryan Garcia. Remember his sparring partner was the one that told Tank Davis's camp that he had a broken rib. So, people say rig and fixed, but the highest level of that is when the referees or the what do you call them in soccer? Are they called referees? Those are the ones that can actually change the outcome of the game. Jay Prince sets up rappers. Yeah, it happens in all life. Wall Street, politics. Not everything is on the level. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I was raised. I was always raised to be skeptical. But anyway, let's just pretend for a moment that it is a sport and that it's all on the up and up and it's not like that, because it kind of ruins the dream. It's like if you go into the strip club, right? It's like not believing that she likes you. You just want to believe. You just want to believe for a minute, just like when your parents told you about Santa Claus, they let you believe. So let's just believe for a second, right? For an hour or so. Spence dug Triple G and the talk smack at him. Yeah, Earl Spence, man. Earl Spence was one of those guys that was always talking about the other side of the street. He was one of the big guys always talking about the other side of the street. So, it's hard to think about him being a true competitor. These Alfredo, thank you. These NBA and NFL players always paying these women over $15,000 to sleep with them. Yeah, it's kind of gross. There's those Adrian Broners online talking about it all the time. But Abdullah Mason, man, what do you guys think? Is he a future superstar? And right now, what I seen, like I said with Albert Bell, he was a decent fighter, but he's not even top 10. He's not even top 10. He was a 5-1 underdog. One thing Frank Bay does is he makes his case. Because I get shit. I got shitted on. I got told I don't know about boxing. I'm a hater. I'm not giving Mason any credit. And I just got to lay out the facts. Facts. The facts suck. Reality bites. But we gotta explain it. We gotta face it. And these guys are on paper theoretically better fighters. Murataya, Zepeda, Andy Cruz. Somebody mentioned Andy Cruz. Yeah, Andy Cruz might have beat Abdullah Mason that night, right? He's obviously a much better boxer than Albert Bell. Albert Bell was a basic 1-2 fighter. He really didn't do anything special that night, and that gave Abdullah Mason, hell. What's on Fight Hub? Facts. Don't care about your feelings. Frank Bay voice. Exactly. That's life, pal. Reality bites. Dudes like Adrian Broner have no game with prostitutes or women. You know, some people, they'd rather pay. You know, and I understand that. Some people would rather pay. It makes more sense to pay. Think about it. You take a chick out, you're paying $300 on a steak dinner anyway. The link is in the chat. I will drop it again. You're more than welcome to hop on, hit the like. But again, what do you see for Abdullah Mason going forward? Does he beat these top guys? You know, Lamont Roach and Zepeda are going to be facing off. And then Mutataya and Conceição are going to be going at it. And the winner of that is going to face the winners. So it should be Mutataya against Roach or Zepeda. Cali Monk. Speaking of Canelo, I wonder who's going to be the referee in the fight. Because then Billy can scrap. Hope he gets a fair chance. Yeah, well, Canelo's still the A side. He's still the big dog. I think he should. I think he will. You know, people always said that Canelo got the what do you call that? The luck of the draw, right? Like, you know, they had Bivol 114. People thought, and he had a draw against Mayweather. And so people start saying that Canelo Alvarez was fixing fights. You know, that you couldn't win a decision against Canelo Alvarez. You know, that's what people thought Terrence Crawford wasn't going to win also, because you couldn't win a decision against Canelo Alvarez. But Abdullah Mason, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think, like I told BDA, he left more questions than answers. And I'd have to think, man. You know, Mutataya beats Abdullah Mason. Schofield might not knock out Abdullah Mason. Schofield's a big puncher. He's a big, strong kid. You know, Joe Cordina, I don't think he has much of a chance. Andy Cruz might outslick Abdullah Mason. Definitely has an opportunity to outslick him. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, an old version on Spence talking shit on Triple G and his fights. Oh, okay. Is that recent? Benavides girls controlling his social media. I seen that. That's the T. That's the G-Smith. Yeah, you know, we can get to that too. Javier Herrera, he could be a threat. Alan Abel Chavez is a threat to Abdullah Mason. Cali Monk, okay, give me 1 second, Cali Monk. Let me just, I have to make sure you are who you say you are. And, you know, people like to troll. So just give me a second real quick. But you've been commenting. Yes, hello, sir.
Yeah, man. Thank you for going live, man. You saved my day.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, man. You know, I'm going through like a little breakup, man. So I went ahead and got me a room, man, and I can just doing me, bro.
Okay, well that's good, man. You know, you don't no need to get upset about it, right? Live your best life.
Definitely. Hey, so I want to talk about the corruption in boxing, man, because
okay,
I believe that they're robbing the fans of good fights, and you know, like this weekend, like that ref, I did my research on him. He was on an interview and he said that, yeah, I'm the type of ref, I want to protect the fighters and everything and all that stuff like that. That's all fine and dandy because we don't want to see these fighters all messed up with the TTE thing. But why don't they put experienced refs in there that know how to referee, man? Because he didn't even give old dude a standing count. He didn't ask him, like, hey, man, you want to continue? He just went, got on his knee and hugged him. And then I even heard that he winked at somebody.
Yeah,
the referee winked at somebody in the crowd. And it's like, come on, bro. What? Who's commissioning these refs? And he has history. He has history with robbing people of the ability to finish the fight. Because boxing is supposed to be warriors, right? This is a warrior sport.
Yeah,
and you don't give a warrior to be a warrior? Come on, bro. I mean, I don't want to see nobody getting hurt or nobody's brains getting beat in. But, you know, at least ask the guy, hey, you want to continue to fight? If he gives the wrong answer, then wave it off. Don't jump and hug him. Man, come on, bro.
Let me ask you something. I'm just being devil's advocate. Are you by chance an Albert Bell fan? Is that why? Or you're close to his team? Or you're Cleveland?
No, no. I'm just saying that I
Oh
just
no, he's
want to
from
see a fight.
Ohio, right? Where's Albert Bell from?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's from Ohio. Actually, I would rather have seen Andy Cruz. I think Andy Cruz, if he would have fought Bell, he would have demolished him. So that makes it seem like Andy Cruz would have probably been a better fight for Mason though, because all Albert Bell did was survive those 6 rounds, and as soon as Mason was done playing with him, he got him up out of there.
True,
And
true.
it was an easy fight. You know what I mean? But I believe going forward, whoever's hiring these referees, they have to do a better job, man, because that guy, he needs to be a referee in softball or something like that, or tennis. Because this is a warrior sport. This is a combat sport. Let us get our, you know what I mean? If Albert Bell if his nose was hanging off or his eye was out the socket, I can understand that. But he had a little bloody nose. Come on, man. We all been in fights. We have somebody got a bloody nose. They gotta say it. Hey, I don't want no more. I'm good, bro. You know what I mean? Come on,
No,
bro.
I 100% agree with you. I'm surprised you're the first person to really come out and say that, because I was on another space where they talk boxing, and they were saying the opposite. They're like, no, he was finished, and I was like, no, Abdullah Mason tackled him on that. He was thrown to the ground
Put
on
him
that last
down. Yeah.
he took him down. He was like, no, he got hit and he fell face first. I'm like, bro, I mean, they won't, if they could let you see highlights, he was tackled. That was my perspective. I'm like, that's what I seen, but they swore it wasn't, and they swore it was a good stoppage. And my take, what I actually agree. I said it's even worse. It's like, look, man, these guys act like that you get all that these opportunities come all the time. Like, this guy may never get this opportunity again, and you
Right.
kind of robbed him of an opportunity to win the fight. And then people said, "Oh no, he was losing." It's like, no, you don't know that. We've seen him winning a lot of rounds. He could have
But
theoretically,
pull it
hypothetically,
out. Yeah.
had a draw at least,
Right.
and you robbed him of that. And now he gets, I think you get an automatic suspension too after a stoppage. So and maybe a rematch, right? Maybe he goes to the cards and he gets a split decision. He can say, hey man, I want my get back, like fight me again. Like, I'll be, but
And
yeah, I
he
think
can make
you
some
were
more
wrong.
money too. Because
That's yeah,
he made like overall though, he made like 90K on the
that's it.
fight. Yeah,
For a
yeah. He didn't even
championship
make the
fight,
million, but yeah. hmm He didn't.
man.
He didn't make he didn't make millions or whatever. But if he comes back and does another fight, then they can pay him more money. So they kind of robbed him of an opportunity of making as much money on a rematch. So I believe that he could take a rematch. I don't think that it would be really worth it. I mean, for the fans, but I mean for the fighter, he should get another opportunity to make some more money because now he gotta fight somebody. Who's he gonna fight next?
You know what? He'll go back to fighting maybe other prospects. But
Yeah.
he'll definitely have. The problem is nobody's gonna want to fight him because they seen him give this guy a hard time. Now nobody's gonna want to fight him. And if you're a manager promoter, you're like, I'm not gonna put my prospect in there with him, right? So
Right.
he's gonna have a doubly hard time. At least if they'd have let him finish the fight, he could say, "Man, I win 12," right? Because that's what the didn't. Go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, right. Isn't that like movies were made about that? About a guy going 12. I went 12 with Ali. I went 12 with Sugar Ray Leonard. That was a fighter. The movie The Fighter was based on the guy going 12, and it's like you robbed him of that opportunity.
Right, absolutely. Let me ask you this: are the refs hot? Who gets to hire the refs? So who's in charge of assigning the refs to certain fights? Do you know that, or does anybody in the chat know that?
It's just by the commission. I mean, each state has its commission, and they appoint the refs. It's not the fighters, or I think the promoters may have a say, or they can, they have what do you call that? Last something, right, or
Okay.
refusal or something like that, right? But at the end of the day, it's really athletic. Yeah, each state's athletic commission, and some are more stringent, some are stricter. Some states don't even really have a commission, right? Like boxing is a niche sport. It's not like there's uh commissions that are funded, in every single state, like California or New York. So
Right.
it's really dependent on the state.
Okay. And also too, I want to know your take on the co- uh, now I have trouble pronouncing his name. Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo, yeah.
Yeah. Canelo and Beasley, because I really want to know who the referee's going to be in that one, because I think that
Oh yeah,
in
you act
Beasley, if he's allowed to scrap and he's not restricted, he's going to win that fight. But if it's some type
oh
of
man.
ref that says, "Oh, Canelo, he's older, and you can't just toss him around like that," they're gonna, So I'm anxious to see who's gonna be the referee on that one in October, because that's gonna be a good scrap if they let him
It
fight.
is. It is. Are you a Canelo hater?
No, I just think that he's a little bit, overdue.
Nah, I understand.
He's a little washed. He's a
He's
little
wow,
washed,
okay.
but
He's a
yeah,
little.
yeah, because he got exposed though. He got exposed by your boy Terrence. So
I mean, I don't know if it was exposed. I think it just Terrence Crawford fought the right fight. He didn't engage. He danced around enough and got the decision. Now he didn't. I mean, if he'd have got his ass whipped, it'd be a different story. Like buckled, wobbled, slumped, knocked down. I'd be like, yeah, he's completely washed. But I mean, Terrence Crawford fought a good, strategic, safe fight. I mean,
did you watch Canelo and the Russian guy? What's the Russian guy that has like the two fights with the other Russian guy?
Dmitry Bivol.
Yeah, man. He exposed him too. Come on,
Well,
man.
I don't. Again, man, he wasn't exposed. Canelo Alvarez was undisputed at 168, and he dared to be great. He went up to 175. You got to remember, Canelo Alvarez is 5'7", started at 140 at like 15, 16 years old. I mean, we're talking about a guy that's basically 80 years old in ring years.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, again, if you say he got washed, he got dominated. I mean, he got dominated. Yeah, but Dmitry Bivol is a pound for pound fighter, and nobody knew that at the time. A lot of boxing people picked Dmitry Bivol, but you got to look at what Canelo Alvarez was doing. He went up to 175, and then he went back down. Like, okay, these guys are too big for me, because he had done it all already, and that's something that you have to look at. That he had done it all. And he's a little guy. He's a little guy fighting monsters. He's even at 168. You still got to understand he's a little guy fighting these giants.
Okay.
Look at a giant. Benavidez was at 168. That motherfucker. Look, he's at cruiserweight and he's at 168 fighting a guy in Canelo that was at 140. You know what I'm saying? So now, I mean, if you want to shit on Canelo, I can't say you're wrong, but I'm just gonna give you my perspective on that.
So who's the heir apparent to Alvarez? Who's the one that's coming behind him? Because all great boxers have other boxers that's coming behind them that has similar style, a similar, bravado and stuff.
Hit the like, hit the link if you want to hop on. The link is in the chat. Well, you tell me. I mean, who you want to know what I think, or do you have someone in mind and you want me to think? You want me to say what I think?
Yeah. I'm not really familiar with 168. I've been watching a lot of 154 and welterweight and lightweight and stuff like that. I'm not real familiar with, besides the guy that's in the news right now for the scandal and stuff, man. These women, man, they'll leave you at the drop of a dime, man. They don't care how much you're making. Yeah.
David and his gold digger.
Yeah, they don't care how much you're making. These women change like the weather. I'm not a woman hater. I love women. But these women change the way. They don't care how much you're making and everything. When they get their little, when they get mad or they get angry, they're out of there and they'll expose you.
Yeah, but men are dogs too. Men are not, men like to shit on women, but men are dogs too. Men, you probably a dirty dog. You probably did a chick hella dirty at one time in your life.
Yeah.
I mean, I have. And when I did dirty, I was like, damn, that didn't feel too good. Now I can't sit and cry about it because I'm like, that did that whole dirty.
Right. Exactly,
You know.
exactly. Yeah.
So,
But
but
you know, what I
go
mean,
ahead.
no, you would think that she wouldn't leave him like that because he's David Benavidez making all this money, but he must have been doing something. He must have probably
Man,
getting violent, man. He probably
check it
got
out.
violent because you know what I mean. A lot of
Nah,
women they're not
I'm
going to
not.
go for that violent stuff.
I'm not gonna put smut on his name like that. Here's the thing, man. Chicks are stupid too. Like men do dumb things, right? We do like really dumb things because we're physical, visual creatures. You know what I'm saying? And women get a pass because they're emotional, but they could be stupid too. And that
Yeah,
chick to me is just dumb. I think she's just dumb. Like
yeah.
it don't make no sense to cut off your nose to spite your face. Like she's
Right,
doing
right.
some dumb shit. Like keep it between y'all. He'll come back and he'll do some Kobe shit where he buys a chick an $8 million ring. You know what I'm saying? Like just shut
And
up.
that
You
didn't
know?
work. That actually worked when Kobe pulled that move.
Right? Like
Yeah,
just shut up and mind your business. And
right.
like, but once you do that, you're making your meal ticket look bad. Like that just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, definitely.
So she's just a dumb chick. And there's some really stupid chicks out there, right? Like, okay, you got a dad that's taking care of your kids, and maybe he's a little rough with you, right? Doesn't beat you up. You call the cops, and now you don't got a check coming. Like, how dumb are you, bitch?
You might go to jail. Yeah, might
Yeah,
get
for
some legal
just
stuff.
being emotional. Now nobody eats. So it's like women do ignorant things too. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah.
But David, but still, man, your dad has to teach you better. Your
Yep.
dad has to teach you that there's repercussions for being a dog, a dirty dog.
And then also too, there's people saying that he's messing around with the cocoa, and it's like,
Nah, man,
you got
yeah.
you got $1 million. You can't find something else that's less harmful than cocoa to help you deal with whatever you're dealing with. Come
But
on, bro.
again,
You're
yeah, but
multi-millionaire. You can find something else rather than doing some cocoa, bro.
yeah, but again. I mean, I'm not jumping to that conclusion because I think it's dirty, and we don't know. And I think that chick is stupid for even letting that get out there. Like I said, that's your meal ticket. Like
Yeah.
that chick is just dumb. She just seems dumb to me. I don't know. People can be stupid and selfish. Like there are women that are just selfish that'll ruin you just because she's having a bad day. So whatever she's doing and letting get out there about David Benavidez is just stupid to me. And I think she's gonna find that out.
Right, definitely. Yeah, she's gonna definitely regret it. Switching gears, man. What's up with the Spence and what's the name fight, man? Because
Tim
you know,
Zoo.
yeah, man, it's gonna be in Australia.
It is in Australia in 2 weeks, I believe.
Yeah, man. I really hope Zoo can pull it out, man.
You're
I'm
rooting for Zoo?
yeah, I'm going for Zoo because Spence is a sellout, man. He
So
even said on the interview, he said, man, I knew I wasn't ready for Terrence, but I went ahead and did it anyway. I mean, how can you blame him for that? But when somebody blatantly says that I just got in the ring because I was making him, you know what I mean? It's like
okay.
how can you roll with somebody like that, man? It's like your heart is not really in it. You just did it for the money.
So you were never a Spence guy? Were you ever a Spence guy at one point? Because he had a lot of fans. Like this, I mean, he was the dude. He was that guy at one point in time. He really was.
Right.
Like Terrence Crawford, nobody knew who the fuck Terrence Crawford was. I'm sorry. Like all these Terrence Crawford fans came out. Look, okay, he whooped Spence ass, but before Errol Spence was the guy. He was gonna fight Manny Pacquiao. And then he had the detached retina scare. He wasn't able to fight Manny Pacquiao. But imagine if he gets that fight, he's a big star. And he was also in line to fight Canelo Alvarez. So Errol Spence was that dude before Terrence Crawford. Nobody knew the guy. Like can't nobody tell me maybe you knew who he was, but come on, you can't pretend that he was that dude. Like that he was a superstar.
To me personally, Spence hasn't been the same since those accidents, man.
Let me pause you on that though, real quick though. On that Spence was living foul outside the ring.
Yeah, drinking and doing all kinds of driving.
Well,
crazy.
no, but I seen that there was a rapper that I think got assassinated Mo something, Mo 3 or something.
Mhm.
And there was the rumors that he was like sleeping with one of they were like banging each other's chicks or
Yeah.
something. And there was the rumor that
He hurt, man.
he was involved in some shit, but he was involved in some street shit. Not that he was a street dude, but basically he wasn't living right. And he's even come out and said he was living foul.
Yeah. Yep. And they showed in the ring. You know, you can say one thing, but your actions gonna show the truth. And that's what happened.
Eric said Yella Beezy. But Tim Zoo is kind of washed himself. I mean,
Yeah,
Tim Zoo is taking some ass whooping. So this is really a battle of like washed fighters.
yeah. That's why I'm kind of looking forward to the undercard, man. I was trying to find out who.
Oh yeah, Stephen Fulton and Stephen Fulton and Charlo.
Yeah. I want to see them. Yeah, 'cause I haven't seen them in a long time. Well, Fulton just had a fight, a while back.
But look at this fake. I hate saying bitch, calling a woman a bitch. You know what I'm saying? I don't like doing. I don't like to be calling a woman a bitch or a hoe, right?
Right.
Like it's kind of foul. But when you see this, like we were talking about, looks like David can't stop doing in her own Instagram words with an incredibly heavy heart. Her name is Karina, but she looks kind of fake.
Yeah.
She looks like a thought, man, just like phony.
Yeah, the only excuse I can make for her is if he was getting in her face or he was getting ready to like snatch her up or physically. If it wasn't no physical stuff, and you know what I mean, she could have go in another room.
He'd be in jail now.
Man, go.
Yeah, but he'd be in jail. That's what I'm saying. That women like this, man, they're very short sighted and they're not very bright. I think like women could be stupid, just like a guy could be stupid. You know, like Adrian, we see this guy Adrian Broner acting a clown, a fool, like being stupid, right? You ain't gonna catch a case. And if David was really out there running reckless, I think he would have caught a case. And this is just a dumb chick. That's what I think. That she's just not very bright. She sees some dollars and probably trying to get it while the getting is good.
Yeah. Women like that, they only lost to one thing, and that's their emotions. Whatever they're feeling, that's what they're rolling with.
Yeah, but there's smart women that help you build, and there's stupid women that'll take you down. That's something I learned in life. Like there are smart women who are like, you know what? He's just an idiot. Let him. I remember there was a friend, right? His chick, he was telling me the story. He had got caught cheating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his chick was like, yeah, he's an idiot. But you know what? Like, I'd be stupid to ruin my own life.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, you know what? She's like, he's an idiot though. While he's right there, like this idiot, but he knows better now. I'm like, you know what? She's smart. That's a smart chick. She's smart. She knew what was best for her and hers.
Okay. All right, man. I'm about to get up over here, man. I'm about to go get in the jacuzzi, man.
Yeah, man. You know what? The best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody.
Yeah, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make a phone call too, because there's a nice, snow bunnies out here where I'm at up north.
All right, go get a ling ling.
Yeah, something. Right,
cheat yourself. Don't cheat yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey, man, we'll hit the like. Don't be a stranger. Come back again. We'll cook. All right. That was Monk. Thank you. We were talking about the David Benavidez drama, the Cheesemith, the T. Richard Simmons. They make Walter Fangirl sound sane. What do you expect when you get with a plastic made female? He deserves it. Illegal anchor babies think I'm black. Okay. Africans for Fang Bay. You know what, man? Real ones know, right? Real recognize real. I get accused of a lot of things, but see, when you're real, it hits somewhere, right? It hits them somewhere they ain't used to. Cali Monk, that's right. Thanks for having me on, bro. No, thank you. And hopefully you hit the subscribe. Let people know that Frank Bay is a real one. He lets everybody speak as long as you're not a weirdo. You understand what I'm saying? We get weirdos every now and then. But you brought up some good things, man. You brought up some good things. Only thing I didn't like, I felt you were being a Canelo hater. But you wasn't a hater, though. I respect that. Respect. Yeah, man. I mean, Canelo Wash, he brought up some good shit. Who's next, though, after Canelo? That was a great question. And you know what I was going to say? I was going to say Virgil Ortiz. That was my thinking a couple years ago. I'm a weirdo. Truffles. Hey, you know what my favorite song is? One of my favorite songs is it Radiohead Creep? I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. Is that how it goes? Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs, right? I'm a weirdo. I'm so ugly. I cannot hold a note to save my life. But hey, we're all a little weird, right? Anybody who's not a little weird is Shakira. I'm making cats scream, right? Dogs, oh, I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. I think that's how it goes. I haven't listened to this. Is that David Benavides slurring? You guys remember this? This is not a good look. David Benavides, Chi-Chi's. Let's play this.
So far, between Diego Pacheco and Sean McCallum, what are you seeing?
And now Diego doing what he got to do. He's using his job. He's keeping his distance. He's looking great right now.
What more do you want to see from him in the second half of the fight?
I want to see him use his distance.
Yeah, David was twisted, man. You hear that? He's sounding really twisted. Sacco Bull, Ryan Garcia, wife, another to watch out for. She kind of stays out of the limelight. This David Benavides chick seems like she wants to be the show. You know, it seems like Ryan has a real one. She doesn't want to be seen. But yeah, she may be a gold digger too. Now Munguia is dating a white Mexican girl. I seen that. He leveled up. Frank Bay singing Canelo's haters' favorite song, I'm a Creep. You know that song, Eric Gomez? Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. Abdullah Mason got a last-minute opponent change. Honestly, this matchup feels more like it. Okay, that was a little earlier. I'm looking for the Oscar news, right? Because he was talking who's next after Canelo, which is a good question. Who is next after Canelo? A lot of people are waiting. And I got to say, man, it doesn't look like there's anybody after Canelo. K-Mac. Benavides had an all-nighter that day. Yeah, he was definitely on something. Hopefully it was just alcohol. I can buy Mexico with my pocket change. Richard Simmers. Oh. Well, you got to prove it, buddy. Benavides sound like Spence on that Zizzerp. Yeah, that lean, man. That lean is a hell of a drug. But hey, man, it makes you feel good, right? So Virgil Ortiz versus Ron Ennis is back on the table. Manager Rick Mirrigan reveals a fair deal has been laid out with Golden Boy settling their massive dispute. He says if Boots and Matchroom want it, this fight could be locked in with 48 to 72 hours in late October. We are finally getting it. I don't know, man. Maybe too little, too late. Ron Ennis seems to have the cards in his table. It's the fight that I want to see, right? It is one of the biggest fights in boxing. I just had it. Oscar was trolling people. Yeah, Oscar was doing his in a wig. Here's Andy Ruiz, signs promotional. Everybody was mentioning this. But again, what is this really going to lead to? What is Andy Ruiz? I mean, he's got to be, how old is Andy Ruiz now? He can't be a young spring chicken anymore, can he? Richard can't buy a 2-piece chicken dinner through Matador. Yeah, man. I mean, everybody is rich on the internet, right? I'm a chic billionaire. Okay, he's really going at it. Anyway, Andy Ruiz. Here's Oscar. Let's see what Oscar Della hairstyle has. Della wig. He does. Is this a clapback? No, it's not a clapback Thursday. Let's see what he has to say.
Guys, hope your summer has been amazing. Hope you're enjoying the World Cup. But back to business August 1st. My gosh, we have William Cepeda versus Lamont Roach, Murataya on the undercard, as well as Raul Curiel, who's fighting in Las Vegas, working on Virgil Ortiz versus Boots. Virgil Ortiz wants the fight. Let's make that happen. It all depends on Boots. Working on Ryan Garcia versus Ben. I just got the memo today. So that's the fight that everybody wants to see. So I'm going to make it happen for you guys. Also, Kid Austin versus Badi, fighting for the full world title because Gervonta Davis is on recess, champion on recess. And also Oscar Collazo versus Ricardo Sandoval. Oscar moving 2 weight classes to fight for Ricardo's belts that he owns. Let's go. The summer is.
Ah, man, you guys are cooking. This Sean Zittle wig. Oscar has Sean Zittle hairstyle. Vote for Pedro. Yeah, Oscar's a little weird with it, right, man? The guy's a little bit of goofball. But the big thing was the Virgil Ortiz news. Let's hear it one more time what he says, and let's talk about it.
Ortiz versus Boots. Curiel, who's fighting in Las Vegas, working on Virgil Ortiz versus Boots. Virgil Ortiz wants to fight. Let's make that happen. It all depends on Boots. Working on Ryan Garcia versus Ben. I just got the memo today. So that's the fight that everybody wants to see. So I'm going to make it happen for you guys. Also.
All right. So Oscar says, yeah, they're working on, basically they're saying it's done for Virgil Ortiz side. They're waiting on Jerron Boots Ennis and Ryan Garcia versus Conor Ben. Right? So Oscar, people talk shit about Oscar, but, he still keeps it lit and he keeps it funny. People shit on Oscar, but man, those are big fights. Those are good fights. But about the Jerron Boots Ennis thing, man, what do you guys think about that? Does Jerron Ennis take the fight? Does he make it happen? I'm a little skeptical. People, and what I've seen him on social media, a lot of people don't believe Oscar. They think he's full of shit. They don't think they want the Ennis fight. And I can't see why not. The Zone, Chris Mannix, and Sergio Mora have been saying that they want it. That's the fight that they want to make. So I can't see why it wouldn't happen. Right? And it makes sense. It makes sense. So Oscar's making the rounds. And Conor Ben, there people were thinking that Ryan's been saying it's the fight that he wants. The Ben has said they've been saying it's gonna happen, and Oscar kind of shit on it, saying he hasn't heard anything. But that's the fight, man. Looks like we're gonna have a good lineup if Jerron Ennis will sign on the dotted line. Cali Monk was talking about the big fish. Is he ready? Less than 2 weeks. Earl Spence makes his highly anticipated return to versus Tim Tszyu on July 25th. K Max says Oscar would beat the shit out of most of these fights from the day he was a beast. He was. And I think people were replaying that he fought Ike Corte. I think on today's date or yesterday, one of these past couple of days, he had fought Ike Corte. And he won. And that's a fight you probably wouldn't see nowadays. Ike Corte was a beast. So what do you guys think about? And then you have Rolly Romero Teofimo. That's in August. That was just recently announced. Rolly, the goofball Romero. He's, I think, a 3-time champion, which is crazy to think. And I was thinking, what'd be crazy is Rolly Romero would to beat Teofimo Lopez. That means he had fought 3 of the 4 kings. And he will have beaten 2 of them, right? He fought Gervonta Davis, did pretty decent until he got knocked out. People thought he was winning the rounds, and then he had got knocked out. But he was young. I mean, he only had 15 fights at the time, kind of inactive. Then he fights Ryan Garcia, beats Ryan Garcia, right? Who beat Devin Haney, eventually becomes champion. And now he's fighting Teofimo Lopez, who, if he beats Tia Lopez, he will have beat 2 of the 4 kings. That is crazy to think about, man. Rolly Romero's legendary. And for being, people don't think he's very good. They think he's trash. The link is in the chat. Hit the like for Frank Bay one time. We'd like to come on and talk about everything. Let everybody have their voice and opinion. That's one thing, right? That's one thing that people got to appreciate is when someone lets you have a voice and they're not haters and blocking and, censoring. That's the great thing, right? Rolling in line to have a good resume. It is, right? I mean, 3-time champion, 2 division champion, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez on his resume, losing to Rolly Romero. He fought Pitbull, right? He fought Pitbull, got knocked out, but hey, comes back and gets a belt. That's the crazy thing about boxing, right? Is one day you're down, one day you're out, and the next you're back. That's the thing about boxing. I was thinking about watching soccer. Hit the like, Frank Bay, champ side voice. Oh, man, champ side. Whoa. You're mentioning some really sketchy places. But what do you guys think about Oscar talking about making Jerron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz? Fight Hub TV, great website. Go check them out on X and YouTube. They're always dropping the news. But he says working on Virgil Ortiz versus Boots. Virgil Ortiz wants to fight. Let's make that happen. You know, I've been arguing with people. I've said, hey man, I don't think Jaron Ennis wants this fight next. I really don't. People get in their feelings. How could you say that he wants to fight? I said, look, man, I think he milks this Xander Zayas win. People get really emotional and really angry when you tell them that. And I've been arguing with people. I've been going back and forth, and they've been saying Jaron Ennis, you know, he's the champion. Virgil don't have a belt. He needs to wait now. I'm like, wow, people are really giving Jaron Ennis the excuse to duck now. Hit the like, hit the link. If you want to talk about Abdullah Mason and his decent performance, Rolly Romero, Teofimo Lopez, DAZN and PBC linking up, and Oscar talking about Ryan Garcia, Ben, and Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz. And you know, it's crazy because there's not a lot going on, right? We don't really have any fights, and I appreciate you tuning in, right? Because you could be anywhere. You can listen to any boxing talk. I mean, there's plenty of places, right? I mean, I listen just like you. I comment just like you. The reason I like to do my own thing is because I like to keep a record. I like to look back and look at the things that I say, right? And Rolly may have a weird style, but he's in tough for anyone in the wrestling division. Yeah, welterweight is not a great landscape, right? Let's just take a look at welterweight. I like to go to Box Live where I look at the rankings, right? Let's go to welterweight. We're talking about it. Welterweight ring is vacant. At the top, you have Devin Haney, who doesn't have a fight lined up, right? He's been going back with Tank Davis, who they say is on X or not on Twitter. That's him. It's not. They're negotiating. They're not. I mean, it's just basura. It's trash. We know the brothers don't fight each other. All they do is they got Twitter fingers. You got Haney, Norman, Catterall. Catterall's a dark horse. You still have Stanionis. You have Ryan Garcia as a champion. You have Rohan Polanco. More DC says, I have Rolly beating Teo. Yeah, I kind of think I would too. I mean, just looking at Teofimo, who I think didn't show up against Shakur Stevenson. You know, people got mad at that. You know, I swear, anything I say, people get really mad at, right? I said, you know, Teo didn't show up against Shakur Stevenson. You don't give Shakur credit. You're a hater. You're mad. I'm like, nah, I just did think he fought a terrible fight. He didn't show up. I think it was a lot of Teofimo. I don't know. He didn't show up. You know, him and his dad were having trouble, but it looked like he didn't come to fight. And people had seen that before. There's been times he didn't show up. He's just a head case. Sometimes he's there, like Ryan Garcia, right? They can look spectacular one night and then terrible the next. Anthony Joshua is another fighter like that. He can look great against one guy and he looks terrible the next. There's fighters like that. They're just inconsistent. They're great on any given night. But then other nights, it looks like they have mental lapses. That's sports. That's why we watch. I mean, it's rare that you get the fighter that is consistent all throughout their career, right? It's rare that you get the fighter that's extremely dedicated. Felix Trinidad, Bernard Hopkins, you know, Julio Cesar Chavez liked to party. Fernando Vargas loved to party. You know, a lot of these guys like to party and they live party lifestyles outside the ring. Oscar De La Hoya liked to sing love ballads. Manny Pacquiao was having extramarital affairs and talking about you know, the limperous people, and he got in a lot of trouble. So, you know, boxers don't live Spartan lifestyles. You know, they have mental lapses like all of us, right? Richard Simmers, Mexicans glorify Canelo only because he's a white ginger with color eyes. Well, and because he wins. But you have Curiel, Rocha, Liam Pato is a champion. And Leo, you know, Rolly Romero is not even considered as a champion top. So you have Devin Haney, Liam Pato, Ryan Garcia, and Rolly Romero as the champion. And he's not being considered in the top ring ratings, which is crazy. Stanionis, who got demolished by Jaron Ennis, is considered a better fighter. Liam Pato just went up and beat Lewis Crocker. And they're above Rolly Romero. You know, BDA always talks about belts don't matter. And this kind of like, you know, hammers this point home. Now, me, I'm kind of in the middle. I think belts matter. Like, you know, even he acknowledges with the fighters, it matters because they get more money. But for the fans, it's really hard to say who's the best, right? Did Richard go back to flipping burgers? Richard who? Where is Ricardo Salas? Well, Ring doesn't recognize, right? He's gonna fight Kane is not Kane Sandoval. Hammer Hands, Julian Hernandez, right? No, Richard Hitchinson is going up to 147. That's right. He's gonna fight Ricardo Salas. We white boys are desired worldwide. White pride worldwide, right? Is that the saying? Hey, white boys get love too. They've been, ever since rap came along, they've been second-class citizens, in the hip-hop and fashion world. But they're making a comeback. You still got Abercrombie and Fitch and American Eagle, right? Right? The white boys still kick it and rock out. Ricardo Salas knocked out Roman Villa under 4 rounds and still is in the top 10, 147. Yeah, where is Roman Villa? So Keyshawn Davis, right? He's on the heels of Devin Haney. They're trying to push the Keyshawn Davis on Devin Haney, but Devin Haney is calling out Shakir Twitterson. Here is Richard Hitchens. He's number 3 in the IBF, and he's Patty Donovan is up there. Barboza, Manny Pacquiao. Here is Ricardo Salas is number 6 in the IBF. And Ryan Garcia, Conor Benn, that's another fight. That should be a good, entertaining matchup. And Jack Catterall is on the heels. Here it is, Julian Rodriguez and Teofimo. Where's he at? Oh, he's number 6, so he's getting a shot. And you still have Brian Norman. I don't think we're writing Brian Norman Jr. off. But the way he looked against Devin Haney, not a good look, right? So this is where we're at with Rolly Romero. But Rolly Romero beating Teofimo would make him have beaten 2 of the 4 Kings. Can anybody else say that? I think Shakur Stevenson beat Teo. The 4 Kings were Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, and Devin Haney, right? And now you go in Shakir Twitterson as like the 5th hanger on, and now you got Keyshawn Davis. But I don't think they were ever the 4 Kings. I mean, they never really did anything. It's just kind of a nickname people attached to them, and they were supposed to be this, and that. Ryan Garcia has actually fought Tank Davis and Devin Haney. He won a Shakir Twitterson who turned it down. But Rolly Romero and Teofimo Lopez is kind of a mid-fight. Their only really selling point is the names. The names. Right? But Rolly Romero, man, doing a lot with the little. And in boxing, that's kind of what you got to do. You got to do the most with the least. So just recently, I seen Robert Garcia reveals to boxing scene that Gervonta Tank Davis called out Jesse Bam Rodriguez directly, but never took it to social media. Would you like to see Bam? That's crazy. What did he have to say?
I'm out. Yeah,
He
stayed in the media.
One person that you guys don't even know, and that's where I'm kind of that's why I'm it's funny to me. You know who else he called out and but he didn't put it on social media. But we have the message. The message he said, he called out Bam.
You called out Bam?
I'm telling you guys.
Anyway, it was too big for him, so he went for Bam.
He called out Bam, and he says, "I want to fight you next. I'm gonna talk to Al Hammond to make that fight happen." You know what I mean? That's.
So I don't know. Robert is saying that Tank Davis, but Tank Davis reportedly is sitting out for 2027. We don't have to talk about him. K Max says, "Yeah, the 4 Kings, fuck all." I agree, but I'm just telling you what people had said, right? They were the 4 Kings, and it sounded cute, right? It was cute. Clarissa Shields getting ready, right? They're debating about Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. The link is in the chat, guys. The link is in the chat. Don't let Frank Bay just talk your head off, right? This is a debate style. I want to hear your opinion. But if you like hearing me talk, right? Just hit the like, the link, and the link, right? Tank is a goofy. That's right. Does my surname sound Slavic? Burrito? Wow. You're just a hater, bro. You got to get the hate out your heart. But yeah, they're going back and forth. They were talking about having Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua in the U.S. Turkey Al-Sheikh says he actually wants in the U.K., but they just have to make it for the American fans, right? But yeah, here it is. If you can look at the screen, the Zone is now with PBC is now with the Zone. So they are the heavy hitters, right? That was pretty much the last big promotional outlet. But my question is really, really, who does the zone have left? And what I seen on social media, not how true it is, that Tank Davis is not a part of this deal. So he's you will still have to pay separately for Tank Davis fights, which is crazy. Tank Davis is not a part of the zone deal, apparently. Hey man, what up, Bones? Long time no see, man. I remember you were saying that you were mad that you got blocked or something, but good to see you. Hit the like, don't be a hater. Tank has no choice. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I seen, and people are speculating. But who does the zone really have left? I don't know if they don't have any young superstars. You know, at one time they had Jerron Ennis, and now they don't. You know, I think he fought with PBC or on their cards, but he never was directly signed with them. He was just more a part of Showtime. Hannibal says it will be co-promotional, probably pay-per-view on Prime DAZN. I got blocked on BDA Soft Ass channel. Whoa, come on. He doesn't block anybody. You're not blocked here though. So and everybody's welcome. You know what I'm saying? Like Eric Gomez says, everybody for Frank Bay. That's right. But who does PBC have? They have Jermel Charlo, Stephen Fulton, Tank Davis, Benavidez. But as far as younger fighters that are just coming up, I think they have Yoleni Hernandez, if you guys know who he is. There was that guy Lucero, but he got beat. They were trying to hype up. I think they have Jesus Ramos, who's a name, but he's inactive. You know, More BC, he knows all these guys. More BC, give me some of the names I might be missing, younger guys that Elijah Garcia. Remember they were trying to have Elijah Garcia, remember, but then he got beat. Who else do they have? Oh, so here's Robert Australians for Frank Bay. Thank you. Everybody, Philippines, you know, Germans, you know, the whole World Cup, right? Egyptians, whoever for Frank Bay. You know, I know I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but at least I'm somebody's, you know? It's just like chicks, you know, they're not all going to like me, but at least one or two will. Promise you that. Right? So Robert Garcia, just switching gears for a little bit. I was looking for this. Let's let here and see what he has.
U.S. soil, I think arguably the biggest fight, which is Virgil Ortiz versus Jerron Ennis, or I should say maybe Jerron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz, because Jerron is the champion now, is very close to being made. Apparently, according to Rick Meridian, he took to social medias yesterday and said, depending on a couple things with the zone, that this fight could be announced and set within the next 48 to 72 hours.
The fight is very close. Eric Gomez, Virgil Sr., Rick Meridian, they all came to me, asked me what I think about the fight. I said, let's do it. There's no need to wait for that fight. There's no need to get a fight before that. Like a lot of people might think that Virgil needs a fight before that. No, he doesn't. Virgil fought less than a year ago. There's world champions right now that don't fight, that fight once a year or once every 18 months, and nobody says they're out of timing because of the delay. No, he doesn't. Virgil fought less than a year ago. There's world champions right now that don't fight, that fight once a year or once every 18 months, and nobody says they're out of timing because of.
And I've been saying that. I was arguing with people online. They were like, Virgil, he hasn't fought. I'm like, bro, people sit out. They have contract disputes all the time in sports. It's nothing new. Bones says if Virgil can't get inside with his Trex arm boot stops him. Possibly. I have endorsed stopping Virgil in boots. You know what? That's something that they were saying on the ring magazine show is that, it was Showjiz was saying it, that he wants Pandora to be the final boss. But let's start that over. Let's hear what he has to say.
Turns out that the biggest fight that could be made, I think, on U.S. soil, arguably the biggest fight, which is Virgil Ortiz versus Jerron Ennis, or I should say maybe Jerron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz, because Jerron is the champion now, is very close to being made. Apparently, according to Rick Meridian, he took to social medias yesterday and said, depending on a couple things with the zone, that this fight could be announced and set within the next 48 to 72 hours.
The fight is very close. Eric Gomez, Virgil Sr., Rick Meridian, they all came to me, asked me what I think about the fight. I said, let's do it. There's no need to wait for that fight. There's no need to get a fight before that. Like a lot of people might think.
So a lot of people were saying that. They say, oh, Virgil's not ready to go into it. He needs a fight before. Fundora is ducking Boots, possibly. Fundora is stylistic nightmare for Boots, definitely. Samson already turned Boots down. That did happen. Fundora is highly underrated. He seems to improve with every fight. All the things you said have been true. That's why I do it, because you guys know boxing. Anybody who listens to me has to know boxing, because I don't think you would listen to me otherwise. Boots ducks Jesus Ramos and Mortazaliev. He did. He wanted 2 tune-ups. That did happen too. See, people want to ignore the facts, but let's finish.
Think that Virgil needs a fight before that. No, he doesn't. Virgil fought less than a year ago. There's world champions right now that don't fight, that fight once a year or once every 18 months, and nobody says they're out of timing because of the delay. No, Virgil fought, less than a year ago. People seem to forget his performance against Madrimov. Virgil's active. Virgil's busy. The fight will happen. The only thing that could stop the fight is if Boots decides not to fight.
There it is. The fight will happen. Let me play that again, because a lot of people are upset and a lot of people are arguing. But let's hear that again and tell me what you think.
Less than a year ago, people seem to forget his performance against Madrimov. Virgil's active. Virgil's busy. The fight will happen. The only thing that could stop the fight is if Boots decides not to fight.
The only thing that could stop it is if Boots decides not to fight. Is this cap? Is he just BSing? What do you guys think? Let me know. Let a player know.
But the fight on our side, I was the one that like I told you guys, Eric Gomez, Senior, Rick. I said, let's do it. There's no question. There's no doubt that we win this fight. So we're on our side. It's a done deal.
It's a done deal. There you have it. Hannibal says cap. He says cap. Boots will do him worse than Mendoza. Frank Espinoza is the best American prospect right now. Wait, are you I thought Capetillo was Cepetillo, the trainer's son. I mean, the Cutman's son, the one that Oscar signed. I thought he was the best Latino Mexican prospect. Virgil's team don't want that fight. Hannibal, you must be a Boots guy. Nah, it's Joel Idiete. That's right. Yeah. Well, he's a big motherfucker. So, I mean, it's by weight class too. Idiete is a big mofo. But yeah, man, this is a highly debated subject. This is something that I've been getting into with people, and they really don't like Frank Bay. I had people tell me this wasn't a big fight. Virgil needs to prove it. Virgil's an idiot. Rick McGriggy and his manager's an idiot, and on and on. It's like, hey, they want the fight. I mean, look, man. I mean, I gotta believe Robert Garcia. He's in the game. He's not he doesn't just have one fighter. He has multiple fighters along with, he actually works with Eddie Hearn. He's the trainer for and manager for Bam Rodriguez, and he works with Eddie Hearn closely, right? Then he has Virgil, who's with Oscar, and Eddie Hearn's guy is Jaron Ennis. So it doesn't seem, maybe Oscar would cap, maybe Virgil's team would cap, but Robert Garcia, it would be hard to believe that he'd be capping, when he works with everybody. You understand what I'm saying? So hopefully they're negotiating. Fedor doesn't want the fight. And again, okay, Fedor ducking Jaron Ennis. I couldn't argue for Fedor, but one thing I will say is that Jaron Ennis didn't want to fight Fedor right away. He didn't want to fight Zayed. He didn't want to fight any champions. He didn't want Murtazaliev. He wanted 2 tune-ups before he went to 154. That's what happened. Or at least that was his excuse to duck Virgil Ortiz. That happened, man. That happened. He said he wanted 2 tune-ups before fighting anybody. So all these people thinking he wanted the smoke, and then when Zayas opened up, oh yeah, I'll go get the young pillow-fisted 23-year-old. So that's how we got to look at things, right? Bratson Boxing, thank you for 6452. Boots got exposed by Karen. I thought he looked a little shaky against Xander. Xander was pillow fisted. We've discussed it, but just talking about this upcoming Virgil Ortiz fight, the only way it doesn't happen, according to Robert Garcia, is if Jaron Ennis doesn't want it, and I don't think they do. I don't think that Team Ennis will want this. I don't think that they want this fight next. They definitely will not fight Virgil Ortiz next. You gotta really break it down and think about it, right? Here's the breakdown. What do you do if you're Team Ennis? What do you do? Hannibal, let me ask you this, because you're a team Ennis, and it's cool. It's cool, right? Bone says Virgil's little arms won't reach Boots' chin like Xander did. Well, obviously you're not a fan of Virgil. Boots wanted to get acclimated to the division. I call cap on that. That's bullshit. I mean, look, man, either the guy runs to the smoke or he wants tune-ups. Virgil got acclimated. Okay, but there was no fight on the table for him to get. So a big difference. There's a big difference between somebody calling you out and then someone offering the money to make that fight and you saying no, and you moving up a division because you're having issues and there's nothing really on the table. There was no Geronis at 154 that he was going to get 6 M's to go fight, their biggest, highest payday. So, two different scenarios, and Geron Ennis turned it down. Boots has chin issues. We will see it we've seen in the third round. It's been said he had issues before that. It was nothing new. But this specific case, this specific situation, Rob Garcia is saying that they are ready to make the fight. And if it doesn't happen, it's on Geron Ennis. So Virgil can get acclimated, but not Boots. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when the fight was offered, that's the excuse he made. And then he, then he goes and takes on Zayas when the opportunity arises for less money. So that's what he said. He didn't go after any champion. He wanted 2 tune-ups. I'm just telling you, when people say that Fundora is ducking him, I'm saying, it's not like he went after him when he first went to 154. He could have asked for it, but instead he asked for 2 tune-ups. Now I think it was a way to avoid Virgil Ortiz, but you guys think otherwise. But apparently he wants all the smoke now, right? See, this is the thing, man. It's just who you believe. I think it's smoke and mirrors. Karen got dropped and ultimately exposed by Boots. Fedora KO'd that pink tutu out the ring. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if he actually does want it. Virgil had a fake lawsuit to avoid Boots. I've heard that conspiracy theory, but I don't believe it. I mean, he was ready to fight him 2 times, so I don't know why you would need a whole lawsuit to avoid it. Doesn't make any sense to me. They fight for money. Virgil Ortiz wants the most money. He's going to fight Geron Ennis. Same with Geron Ennis. That's the fight to make. Virgil on X too much like them Chris, man. Is he? I haven't even seen him on X like that. All he said was Xander Zayas is a pussy because Xander Zayas was talking shit about him. That's all he did. And he said he'll sleep Geron Ennis. That doesn't seem like he's going on and posting pics of his baby mamas and him at the club. You know what I'm saying? Tim Zoo is leveled above Boots and Zayas. Whoa, that's Marv DC, I fuck with you, but that's a little more than I'm used to. Just saying. Boots almost got knocked out by Pillow Fisted. Yes, that did happen. But again, Hannibal, if you're still there, even Bones, if you're Geron Ennis, do you really think that his team would want the Geron Ennis fight? I mean, look, there's a reason they turned it down 2 times. Because after the Zayas win, he holds all the cards. He has all the that's what people are saying, that Virgil, that they want belts. They're not interested in Virgil anymore. Geron Ennis has been saying he's not waiting for Virgil anymore. He sounds like a woman, right? He said, I'm not waiting for Virgil. I'm just not going to wait for him. No, they're ready. They're ready now. He's saying, oh, well, he's not doing anything. And Robert Garcia just laid it out for you. He said fighters sit out longer. Champions sit out longer waiting. It happens. He's only been out since November. There's fighters, champions that sit out longer, 18 months. So it's not a problem. They want the fight now. So, you see Ennis fans, I think they're a little shook. I think they don't want the fight next. I think they know Virgil Ortiz is the most dangerous opponent. And I think Team Ennis knows that. And the ball's in their court. Will Ennis say yes? Will he get on one? Will he say yes or no? Boots got into the ring for Virgil, and they went through a fake lawsuit. Well, that didn't happen. There's no lawsuit. Look, man, athletes sit out for more money all the time, but they're ready now. You can keep saying that. Hannibal, just keep telling yourself that so that you can give Ennis an excuse. I respect what you're saying, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but I just don't believe it and buy it. Just like you don't have to believe and buy what Robert Garcia is saying or what I'm saying. Boots is a KO waiting to happen. He definitely is. It's going to happen. I mean, just like Roy Jones, right? People thought Roy Jones was invincible, but his style it was going to happen. Eventually, he was going to lose a step and get knocked out. And Roy got caught. These dynamic fighters, that's the risk, right? Like Bam Rodriguez has been caught. Eventually, someone might get to him. So why didn't the fight happen? Ask Jaron Ennis why he turned it down and wanted 2 tune-ups. That's what you need to be asking. But look, Hannibal, you're focusing on the past. This is now. They want the fight now. They're ready. He just told you. I mean, how many times do you have to hear it? Do you need, I think, Hannibal, I think you need to hear it again. Danny Medina is back. They're beefing. Boots already ducked Murtazaliev and Fandora. So Morbid EC says it's actually the other way around. Mexicans don't like Chris, but Boots doesn't fight like Chicane, so I respect that. You know what? I can't disagree with that statement. I agree with you. So we got beef. We got beef in these streets, but it's all good. I don't censor. Hannibal, you need to hear this again. I think this is for you. They said they was ready before and the fight didn't happen. No, it's Jaron Ennis that turned it down. That's just what happened. See, Hannibal, you keep trying to focus on back then. But this is now. They're ready now. They just told you. Do you need to hear it again? I think you do.
Came to me, asked me what I think about the fight. I said, let's do it. There's no need to wait for that fight. There's no need to get a fight before that. Like a lot of people might think that Virgil needs a fight before that. No, he doesn't. Virgil fought less than a year ago. There's world champions right now that don't fight, that fight once a year or once every 18 months, and nobody says they're out of timing because of the delay. No, Virgil fought, less than a year ago. People seem to forget his performance against Madrimov. Virgil's active. Virgil's busy. The fight will happen. The only thing that could stop the fight is if Boots decides not to fight.
There it is. If Boots decides not to fight, that's the only reason it doesn't happen. That's the reason it didn't happen before, Hannibal. It would have already happened if Team Ennis didn't lose their phone. Talking and doing are different things. I agree. Boots' resume is trash. If he was such a beast, why hasn't he fought anyone? Well, I wouldn't say trash, but I wouldn't say great. It's mid. It's decent. It's nothing that to sniff about, but it's not Virgil Ortiz or Fandora. We know that. I was on another YouTube account, and that's why I didn't get your notification, Nick. Are you talking to me? Nah, it's all good, man. Sebastian Fandora, promoter, already turned down Boots. Well, as long as you're here, as long as everybody makes it. Sebastian Samson Fandora, a promoter, already turned Boots down. They didn't turn him down. They're just going to fulfill their mandatory. But again, see, for every action, there's a reaction, right? So Hannibal, whenever you say something, I push back, right? That's what I got to do. And that's for anybody that I agree or disagree with. Even if I agree, I'm going to ask a person a question, right? I'm going to say, well, like the guy who was talking about Canelo. I agreed. Yeah, maybe Canelo's washed, but I'm going to push back. So Hannibal, I understand what you're saying, right? But if Jaron Ennis really wanted that smoke, he wouldn't need a tune-ups. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying by that. They're gonna fulfill their mandatory of a unification. Hey, he didn't want it. He wanted 2 tune-ups. I'm just telling you that. But yeah, honestly, in my honest opinion, it does look like a duck, and I can't argue that. It does. But as far as Virgil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis now we're gonna see if Team Ennis really wants to fight, because the zone wants it. They've said that they want it. They want it next. The money and there's no more issues. I've been kicking it in the Spanish YTBC, but it's lame. No racism whatsoever. Well, I hope you don't think that I have racism here. I'm not afraid to go into it, but I don't think there's racism. I don't think it exists. I think people have their biases and prejudices, but it's very hard to find extreme racism. I do agree, and it can be funny. I mean, it's funny to see people crash out. Right? You know what it is. You know what, Bones, it is. It's interesting to see how extreme people can get, right? Because, I'm extreme, but I'm not like that. Not extreme. I would get shut down. They'll just shut down your channel, right? You have to abide by the guidelines. But it can be funny. It can. Boots hates real challenges. It's very obvious to see. Boots is acclimated now. Make the fight. Now, right? I don't care. I think Danny Media's people are inferior. Whoa. Cardozo, Campbell, and Erickson Lubin are levels above Xander Zayas. That is a big statement. I don't know if I agree, but I can understand, right? You don't have to agree, but you can understand where someone's coming from. This is the hot topic. This is what people have been arguing about. This is what I argue about with people. And again, the link is in the chat. Unless you just like to hear me speak. But if you have something to say, don't be afraid. Don't be a hater. Get on. Hannibal, you're more than welcome to come up and tell me how you feel and how you think. But you're more than welcome to sit there. I will go back and forth with you. He says, why hasn't Virgil petitioned Fedor's strap? He's been number one in the WC for a while. A little bird told me, I don't know who's who. Everybody has their suspects, but I have no idea. I barely know any of the names. Why hasn't Virgil petitioned Fedor for strap? He's been number one in the WBC for a while. That's a good question. And I think I don't know. It's hard to, that's a good question. I mean, I'd like to see the fight. And I think maybe one of the reasons is Virgil Ortiz wants the Jaron Ennis fight. Look, if Fedor is not willing to fight Jaron Ennis, they don't want Virgil Ortiz. The PBC has that belt and they're paying protection with Fedor. I wouldn't be surprised if Fedor, he either fights Earl Spence or Tim Tszyu for the 154 strap. That's what they're planning. Because if you remember, Fedor and Spence were supposed to fight a while ago. Earl Spence had actually gotten in the ring with Fedor, if you remember that. Or Fedor moves up to 160, drops the belt, and, Virgil Ortiz picks it up. So, people have been asking for Sebastian Fedor, Virgil Ortiz, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Look, Fedor is on PBC Island. He's doing his thing. But the fight to make that the zone wants is for, Virgil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis. That's the fight. I don't blame Boots for chasing the belt, but if Fedor Kelly can't be made, fight Virgil. But no. The only fight to make, the fight that people want, is Virgil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis. They've been trying to make that fight. Jaron Ennis turned it down. I mean, I don't know how many more times I have to say that, but fine. Ennis is talking about belts. He don't need Virgil. Fine, but that's duck talk. The zone, the company, they want the fight. I'm trying to find the footage for it, but bear with me with it while I look for it. But yeah, man, that's the fight to make. That is one of the biggest fights in boxing. And all I'm hearing is duck talk by Jaron Ennis fans. Bones, are you a Jaron Ennis fan? Is that what it is? Or you're just a Virgil Ortiz hater? Virgil gonna fight for another title eliminator. You know what? I mean, look, man, what is he supposed to do if Jaron Ennis doesn't want it? Maybe he fights Earl Spence. He could fight Earl Spence. Would you guys like a, people are mad at Virgil Ortiz for saying he wanted Earl Spence. And I didn't see anything wrong with it. I was like, you know what? I mean, if that's the fight they can make, it's a decent to good fight. I think it would sell pretty good. Virgil Ortiz and Earl Spence. But this is the fight, Oscar was saying it today too. He wants Ryan Garcia, Conor Benn, and Virgil Ortiz, Jaron Ennis. Bones is Guatemalan, says Matador. What is Boots going to do? I've said this before. This is my clip. This Jaron Ennis is going to milk the Xander Zayas fight. He'll probably get a homecoming against, maybe Josh Kelly, which is going to make him look good, right? Because Eddie Hearn has Josh Kelly, that title over there with Josh Kelly in the UK. And he can make a Jaron Ennis unification with Josh Kelly, and Jaron Ennis would have 3 belts. John Blaze, CCD, Virgil, a 3-division non-champ. He is, man. I can't argue against that. You're 100% absolutely correct. Virgil has been dragged through the mud, and you're not wrong. But that's the past, man. They want the fight now. I mean, Robert's saying it, Oscar's saying it. Could they be capping? They could. But the zone wants it. Sergio Mora, Chris Mannix, they're the announcers, but they are kind of the mouthpieces for the zone. And they're talking about that's the fight they want, that money is not a matter. Location is not a matter, and that's the fight they want. If it doesn't happen, it's going to be on Jaron Ennis, and it's probably going to be Eddie Hearn making the Josh Kelly fight. Josh Kelly will be fighting, I believe, on the undercard of Anthony Joshua. Virgil Ortiz got love handles. Does he now? Maybe he's been playing Guitar Hero a little too much, eating a little too many wings and burritos. Or what does he say? He likes mac and cheese. Is that what he's saying, Virgil Ortiz? He doesn't like beans and rice. He likes mac and cheese. Josh Kelly is perfect for Boots. No power, back foot bridge, just what Boots wants. That's what Eddie Hearn was talking about. We want the fight now. Which fight? Rolly Romero and Tio or Ortiz and Ennis? It's the only fight to make. It's one of the biggest fights in boxing. But I got Ennis fans telling me that it's not a big fight. That Virgil's not a ticket seller. That he has nothing to offer. You know the usual things, right? And there's really nothing to argue about. That you're not wrong. Blaze is saying he's a 3-division interim champion. He's not wrong. See, that's the thing. It's like you guys aren't wrong, but it is Ennis. It is in Ennis's hands, right? He is the guy in the driver's seat. Hit the link, hit the like, hit the link. Ennis is in the driver's seat. He is, right? Because he's the unified champion. At one time, it was a 50-50 fight. And that's what Team Ennis is saying, that it's not 50-50 anymore. He's the unified champ. Virgil's going to have to take less. He's going to A-side him, right? All the A-side shit that Virgil, having been out of the ring, lost a step. Not a step in the ring, but, as far as at the negotiating table. Virgil's reps Texas. He don't even rep Mexico. I'm pro-Mexican, everything. Emiliano Vargas reps Mexico. Are you sure? I don't know. He's worn Mexican trunks and a Mexican attire in the ring, so I don't know if that's true. Now, I know Benavidez, he reps both, right? He reps the Ecuadorian flag, so that I could see. But I wouldn't say that about Virgil. You saying he's more like Bam, but he's not a Diego Pacheco, is he? So this is what people were talking about. Fundora. Oh, so let's see what Showjiz says, right? Because he's trying to make some points. Let me tell you, let's see what you guys think. Because I know you guys cook more than me. Are you going to bet the house if Virgie fights Boots? Blaze. You know what? No, obviously not, man. I mean, it's a 50-50 fight. I'd have to be 100%. And when I do that, it's obvious I'm trolling. When it was the Jaron Ennis, Xander Zayas, and I was on X, I was really trolling those guys, to see if they really would bet the house. Right? You have fun with it, man. You got to have fun with it. Bet the house. And I was really willing to see if anybody bet the house. And you know what? I thought they would come back and be like, oh, you were going for Xander. And none of them did. I think one guy was like, oh, you went for Xander. I was like, nah, man. I said, show me the money you won. And nobody did. So let's see what Show Jizz has to say. The big hitter himself. He's talking about, what does he say? Fundora ducking Boots is perfect. Let me tell you why. So I don't know. It's an interesting take. Let's see what he has to say.
Because Fundora is taking on suffering succotash. That's his mandatory. And people are saying that Fundora ducked Boots. The reason why I can see y'all saying that is unification trumps mandatory. So you kind of right, but let me tell you where I'm at. Do you guys want Fundora as the last stage or Virgil Ortiz as the last stage? I want Fundora. See, I like the game of death approach. Y'all remember that? When Bruce Lee fought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
So Showbiz is saying that he's trying to make an analogy. He's saying he wants Fundora as the last opponent, which to me makes sense. A lot of people feel that way.
And Kareem was at the end. Boots to me is Bruce Lee, not Virgil. There's 3 stages.
I don't agree with that. He's saying Boots is Bruce Lee.
He beat Xander, become unified. Next stage is Virgil. And then the next stage is the unknown, Fundora. You like that? I like Fundora as the final boss. Everyone's hard on Fundora.
What do you guys think about that? Should he save Fundora for the final boss? Is Fundora? See, a lot of people are thinking that. I actually was saying that I think Virgil Ortiz beats Jaron Ennis. But it could be the other way around, right? Showbiz picks are always wrong. He does. He bets a lot of money, right? He kind of does, though, right? Let's see what he says. Let's see it again. It's not that long.
Everyone's hard on Fundora because Fundora is taking on suffering succotash. That's his mandatory, and people are saying that Fundora dunked boots. The reason why I can see y'all
So is that a duck because he's taking on the mandatory? Some of you seem to think so.
saying that is unification trumps mandatory. So you kind of right, but let me tell you where I'm at. Do you guys want Fundora as the last stage or Virgil Ortiz as the last stage?
Who would you rather have, Fundora as the last stage, as Showbiz is trying to say, or Virgil Ortiz? Bone says Boots looks more special fighter than Virgil. Virgil basic as fuck. Well, see, I think that's a mistake. I think you'd be making a mistake. Boots is flashy, but what if Virgil's more fundamental? What the fuck? WTF is this bum Fundora fighting? Mika something. Blah, blah, blah. Some Eastern European name that I can't even pronounce, right? I think that dude, eyes popping out of his face. Boots looking like Neo from the Matrix. Is that a good thing? Don't matter. Boot loses to damn, low key going hard.
I want Fundora. See, I like the game of death approach. Y'all remember that when Bruce Lee fought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Kareem was at the end. Boots to me is Bruce Lee, not Virgil. There's 3 stages. He beat Xander, become unified. Next stage is Virgil, and then the next stage is the unknown, Fundora. You like that? I like Fundora.
Okay, so Showbiz actually believes, like a lot of people believe, that Fundora is the tougher task. And a lot of people, and then you have a lot of other people that are like, nah, Fundora is easier. He gets slept by Mendoza. And it's like, nah, man, like people said, he's like a Nephilim in there, right? As the homie Sober says, he's like some 6'5" Nephilim, some ancient alien mixed with Azteca blood. He's going to be hard to beat, man. The link is in the chat. Hit the like. But saying Virgil Ortiz is basic is, I don't think, a correct assessment. I could understand. Maybe you're going for more flash over substance. But Virgil Ortiz is the biggest threat. Xander Zayas looks like a journeyman against Jorge Garcia Perez and Abbas Baru. Well, Xander's decent, but nobody thought he was going to win. Nobody thought, and I'll be fair. I thought he would give Duran Ennis trouble. Now, I never said he was going to beat Duran Ennis. I said Duran Ennis should steamroll him. I thought he would try to box, and he didn't box. I mean, what am I supposed to say or do? He didn't, if they showed the clips, it looked like he twisted his ankle in the first round. If you actually watch, I have the clip, but I can't find it. But Edgar Berlanga shows you that he actually twisted his ankle. And that's why he chose to fight the way he wanted, the way he fought. Abbas Baru got his ass whipped. Wait. Bones, Virgil should fight another 4-title eliminator. You wouldn't be wrong, and he might still do it, man. If Duran Ennis turned it down, he might still do it. Abbas Baru got his ass whipped by Juk Kolke. True. Final boss fighting boxers we never heard of with names impossible to pronounce. Legal tender. Real final boss type shit. Well, that's Showbiz trying to make it interesting. That's what you have to do up here, right? You have a show, you do clips and videos. You got to say you got to make it interesting, It's just like with the chick, right? If you're just basic, like, hey, I like you, you're pretty, you're not going to get very far with them, right? You got to be slick. You got to talk that slick talk with them, You got to have some game. Bones boy couldn't stop Erickson Lubin. What boy? Jesus Ramos. Okay, not sure where you guys are at with it. But look, man, Ennis and Ortiz is one of the biggest fights in boxing. It just is. I had people tell me that it wasn't. That it wasn't a big fight, which is crazy. That's crazy talk to me. People are literally telling me it's not a big fight and Virgil has to earn it. Let me ask you that. Let me ask you guys that. Salute my boy Mano Ramos, bro, looking heavy. Is he? Yeah, man. See, that's the PBC way, man. Just hold on to these guys. It's terrible what they do. They got no date. Well, maybe we'll see more of them because they're with the zone now, right? Hopefully that's a good sign. And we see, but Ramos is at 160 now. Remember he got robbed against Erickson Lubin, and that's how Lubin got the. What fight did Lubin get after that? Did after he beat Ramos. Jesus Ramos couldn't knock out Chinny, Erickson, Lubin. Well, I thought he won that fight, but he was definitely robbed. He was definitely robbed, and he probably would be a bigger star if he was not robbed that night. So Gervonta Tank Davis will not be ready for any fight until the first quarter of 2027, according to conversations between Al Heyman and Bill Haney, told the Ring's Mike Coppinger. So that's the other rumors going on. Come on, Morb, he got robbed. He did, says Matador. While Virgil took him out under 3 rounds. That is a good point, right? People think they're highly rate Ramos, but they criticize Virgil. Mono is like 24 with the interim belt, and Virgil is damn near 35 with no belt. Now, I thought Ramos is a little bit older now. He was 24 like a couple years ago, bro. I think you're mistaking that one. So here's the clip. Dang, I finally found it. Told him a bitch. Okay, this is what I want you to focus on. So this is Mannix, and they're talking about the fight. Let's listen in. So listen closely and tell me what you think. He's that young. Tell me he don't look 35 though. Come on.
If the stars aligned and the promoters really want to make this fight happen, and everyone involved from the managers, then make the fight happen. The money's there, and it will be one of the biggest fights in boxing. I mean, there's a lot of names, and the thing about these.
But if they're ready to make Boots against Virgil back in March, why wouldn't you be ready to make it right now? Like, you know what the money's going to be. You know how much it's going to cost. Now, maybe you've got to goose Boots a little bit, change the percentage a little bit, because Boots is now the unified champion. Boots is now coming off a big win like he had.
All things I said, right?
If the stars aligned and the promoters really want to make this fight happen, and everyone involved from the managers, then make the fight happen. The money's there.
The money is there.
And it will be one of the biggest fights in boxing.
It will be one of the biggest fights in boxing. These are all things people told me that it wasn't. They said it's not a big fight. Virgil doesn't sell, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, there's a lot of names. And the thing about these.
But if they're ready to make Boots against Virgil back in March, why wouldn't you be ready to make it right now? Like, you know what.
Okay, that's very key. They were ready to make it in March. And people are saying, well, Virgil had legal issues. Well, there's no more trouble now. They've settled it. They're ready. So what's going to be the issue?
What the money's going to be. You know how much it's going to cost. Now, maybe you've got to goose Boots a little bit, change the percentage a little bit, because Boots is now the unified champion. Boots is now coming off a big win like he had. But you know what the financials are. It took months, but Rick Meridian and Eric Gomez and Oscar De La Hoya seem to be on the same page on the pay scale of Virgil Ortiz. I don't want to see something weird happen.
Normally it's the money that holds.
So normally it's the money, right? Which was the issue before.
Things up. Second, it's the location. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Vegas.
That's a West Coast fight.
Vegas.
I know, I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's a West Coast fight. Las Vegas, 100%. You'll get the money and you get the attention. You get the hardcore rabid fans. So what's the problem now? The money's taken care of. The location's taken care of. We have enough time. I agree with you. Make the fight happen.
There it is. It's not a problem on any side. I've been telling you guys this. And some people will see this and be like, well, what does that mean? That don't mean shit. Bro, they obviously are in the meetings. They work with the zone. They work hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder. The zone wants to fight. Money's not an issue. Location's not an issue. Duran only, with Ennis, it may just be the percentage now, because he may want 51%, right? He's going to want more because he's the champion. But other than that, I mean, Oscar, Robert, his manager, everybody's on board. Matador says Virgil coming out of his dark room with a giant right arm like a gooner, and it ain't from plugging a guitar. Well, hopefully he's been practicing semen retention, right? He's been practicing yoga with it, right? He hasn't reached climax yet, so maybe he's like internalizing it, so he's like Superman now. Little TMI, right? Virgil kicking it with Manuela. The right low key, hit the light. The fight should be worth more now since title's on the line. Can't stand Sergio Mora. You know what? I used to be like you, but I'm okay with them a little bit. But yeah, man, this is the fight to make. This is the fight. I honestly believe 100% that it's up to Duran Ennis, and I think his team will choose to milk it. What do you guys think about that? I could be wrong. I hope, when I'm thinking about it, Frank, you're wrong. That ain't going to happen. I'm like, hey, man, I hope I am wrong. I hope Jaron Ennis right here, right? And he's talking about Jaron Ennis breaks down his options for his next fight. It's between Fundora and Ortiz. I feel like Fundora is a big fight because he's got a belt and he's 6'5" or something like that. So he's calling out Fundora. But I don't know. I honestly can't see Jaron Ennis taking that dangerous of a fight next. I just can't see it, man. Who's Virgil's best win? Stanionis was going life and death against Thomas Dulorme, who got stopped by Virgil Ortiz in the first round. There it is, all facts over feelings. Who's Virgil's best win? Well, I mean, it would have to be Israel Madrimov, right? Who arguably drew or perhaps maybe beat Terrence Crawford. Frank Bay won't stop cooking. Eric, thank you. It's flambe. We flambe over here. And the thing is that I always drop the link. The link is actually pinned to the chat. And hit the like, share, subscribe. And, I allow other people to speak, but, even the Ennis fans, but look, man, I'm not an Ennis hater. I don't think I'm an Ennis hater. I just didn't like how he ducked Virgil Ortiz. That's it. It's obvious that he did. So Virgil's best win is a guy with the loss. So Virgil's best win is a guy with the loss. Well, I mean, fighters lose, but he was the highest ranked Ring Magazine guy at the time. So, he was a former champion, but I don't know if you think Stanionis is better than Madrimov. I don't know. I think you would be making a mistake, but you're entitled to your opinion, even if your opinion is absolutely 100% wrong. No, I'm just playing. I get it. Everything, even when I disagree with people, I still understand where they're coming from. I do. And like I said, I appreciate it. Zayas. Oh, no. That'd be a good fight. But you can't say that seriously. Nah, that's going a little too far. I got to tell you. So it's just a little too far to say Zayas cooks Madrimov. Now I think you're just being a contrarian at this point. Karen got his ass whooped by domestic level Patty Donovan. Yeah, that's one of Ennis's wins that didn't age well. Right? So that's really what's been the news. I don't know if there's anything else. We've talked about Rolly Romero, Abdullah Mason. What do you think Abdullah Mason does next? Does he beat the top guys? Does he beat Royal Valenzuela? Does he beat Murataya? Does he beat Lamont Roach, William Zepeda? Will he be kept in bubble wrap? Will they keep protecting him? Teofimo Lopez and Rolly Romero. Not really a big fight. I don't know if people are going to be too excited. We talked about Tim Tszyu and Earl Spence, right? That is a fight that people are interested in. Madrimov and Erickson Lubin are levels above Zayas. That's a bit of a stretch, but everything you guys say, I understand. And I love it because it gives me something to talk about. Zayas is 6 foot long reach, and Madrimov's like 5'5". Zayas also has better fundamentals. No, he's not that small, dude. I think you're tripping saying he's 5'5". Not even close, but he's a much better mover than Xander Zayas. Much better boxer than Xander Zayas. I mean, he gave the number 1 pound for pound fighter fits. And Boots, he was getting clipped by Xander Zayas, who wouldn't be considered on the level of Bud Crawford or Xander Zayas. So I hear what you're saying. You're making some points. But I don't think you can arguably say that. Madrimov fought bigger and better fighters than Zayas did. Facts. That's a fact. I mean, you can't take away that he gave Bud Crawford hell. You can't take that away. Oh, my bad. He's 5'8.5". I thought he was bigger for some reason. You might be right. I don't know. We could look at it, but no, you can't say that Zayas cooks Madrimov. Come on, man. That's just not reality. I mean, it could happen, but it could also happen the other way around. But what would have happened if Bud Crawford fought Terrence Crawford? Answer me that, Bones, or the chat. because Bones is trying to say Madrimov, Zayas' levels above Madrimov when got whooped, but put Xander Zayas in the ring against Israel Madrimov, and you tell me what would have happened. Does he outbox Terrence Crawford? I would love to see Virgil fighting Jermell Charlo. You know, people would shit on that fight, but Skull Kid, that's a great fight, right? I mean, I don't know where Jamal or Jermell, because Jermell was the former undisputed 154. Jamal's the 168er now, who will be fighting on the Tim Tszyu undercard. Michael Sora, Corbinov, Vladimir Hernandez are better fighters than Jorge Garcia, Perez, and Abbas Rasu. Jose Garcia Perez lost against Carlos Ocampo. I'm telling you, this guy's a boxing almanac. Zayas beat the guy that beat that guy Yelenis Tolenes, but that's not what I asked you, Bones. Bones, you said that Zayas cooks Madrimov. You're saying better wins. Then you tell me with a straight face that Xander Zayas would have did as well against Terrence Crawford as Israel Madrimov did. Since you think he's a more skillful, better footed boxer, you cannot tell me that. So I think I kind of killed that, nipped it in the bud, as they say. Yep, 154. Oh, okay, that's Jermell. Yeah, I mean, look, man, it doesn't seem likely, but it would be a good fight. It's a legacy fight. You know, on Canelo, when he was coming up, he fought Shane Mosley, and that was a name you had to fight. It was a legacy fight, and he beat Shane Mosley. And that's a fight you added to your resume, right? That's what happens in boxing, man. Younger fighters take on like a Charlo and Spence, and they add them to their legacy. You know, Keith Thurman was trying to do that. Earl Spence and Keith Thurman were trying to do that with the 40-year-old Pacquiao, and they were going to get tons of credit. So I don't know why you would discredit a guy like Ortiz adding a Charlo and Spence. Do you understand what I'm saying? I have Zayas beating Virgil. Now, Hannibal, you're just reaching. You don't really believe that. I don't think you do. I think you're just saying that. But I understand what you're saying. And it's fair to say because, you know, what Virgil beating Madrimov didn't impress you. And, you know, I can't make you be impressed by it, but I was impressed. You understand what I'm saying? Bone says Zayas has height, weight compared with Crawford, but then again, styles make fights. Zayas wasn't a scrub. But you're trying to tell me that Zayas is a way better fighter than Madrimov, a better boxer. So then he should be able to easily outdo Madrimov against Crawford. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm putting you to the test, but hey, you're entitled to your opinion. I appreciate your opinion, but I can't give you that one. Just can't do it. Carlos Ocampo beat Jorge Garcia Perez in better fashion than Zayas did. And don't get me wrong, I don't like Zayas, but I think he's better than Virgil. Now, how could you think that? I just can't see that. I don't believe in triangle theories. No, I don't either. It's just somebody presented me that Zayas was better than Madrimov. And I'm like, how could you say that? What would Crawford have done to Zayas? But you're telling me that Zayas is a better boxer than Madrimov. I'm like, how? He wouldn't have been able to outbox Terrence Crawford the way Madrimov was able to. You can't tell me that. It's not triangle theory. It's just saying you're telling me one fighter's better, but you're not telling me how and why. And I'm just giving you the example of why you can't officially say that. But you're right. I mean, everybody says that triangle theory doesn't work, but Floyd Mayweather used it. I beat so-and-so, you know, that's how he was able to get away with not fighting Margarito, and he got away with it, right? Yeah, you know, Mosley beat Margarito, who I beat Mosley, so I didn't need to fight Margarito. So people say it doesn't work, but we still use it, right? We still use it. So, I mean, it's just part of the boxing discussion. Now, I'm not saying it works in that fashion, but we still use it as a tool. A way to compare fighters, but obviously they still got to fight. But I don't think you can seriously tell me that Zayas is better than Madrimov. According to Ring Magazine statistics, Virgil Ortiz is in the top 5 best jabs in boxing currently. Shit, man, I wish I had the link there. Floyd Triangle Theory was Duck Blueprint. Oh yeah, he used it to get out of fighting Thurman, Paul Williams. So Paul Williams beat Margarito, who beat Cotto who beat so and so, and I don't need to fight Paul Williams. Oh, Paul Williams lost, so I don't need to fight him. That was a major tool that Floyd Mayweather used to get out of fights. It just was. That's how Tank Davis and Devin Haney for years, and Shakur Stevenson is now getting out of fights by using triangle theory. Bones. Crawford underestimated Madrigal. Simple as that. Awkward style that complicated the fight for Crawford. I mean, you could say that, but you can't say that. You don't want to say what Crawford would do to Zayas. See, you're. I just figured it out. You're very slick with it. I respect. You don't want to say what Crawford would have did to Zayas, because it wouldn't make your argument look good. Floyd beat everybody he needed to beat. No, he didn't. He used triangle theory to swerve Margarito, and it is what it is. And people bought it, but he didn't. There was a lot of fight. He needed to fight Paul Williams, who Margarito fought, who Floyd didn't want to fight. He actually told Margarito that he was going to fight him and induct it. He never fought Costa Zoo. He never fought Amir Khan, who said he was going to fight. Zayas should bounce back with Madrigal, and you'll see. Well, that's a fight we should talk about. Floyd beat his baby mama. You got this. Hey, Floyd paid the price, man. He went to jail for it. Did 30 days in the can. He paid his debt to society. Floyd, the same dude that was standing in front of a building saying it was this, turned out he rented some space. Damn, that's cooked. You think Margarito or Williams beats Floyd? I think they'd only beat him. They stop him. But Floyd swerved it, man. And he used, the reason I pointed out was that he used triangle theory. I seen this was interesting, right? El Paso boxer accused of assaulting Stepan at 4th of July gathering over decorations. Does somebody want to go bail her out? Kind of a cutie patootie. I think somebody says she's like a prospect. Floyd beat all the best of his era. Did he? Did he really though? Did he? He didn't fight Keith Thurman. He didn't fight Winky Wright. He said he was going to fight. There's a lot of fighters that he just didn't fight. They were the best at the time. However it happened, why it happened, who knows? But he didn't. He didn't. And, salute to him. He's TBE, 50-0. Mashimov also stopped Alejandro Barrera, who gave Carlos Adames major problems. Yeah, this guy is an almanac. Holy shit. He's making the case. He beat Canelo ass. He did. But Canelo still got a 114 split decision. So, and Canelo was green and young, but hey, you know what? Okay, you got that one. You definitely got that one. It happened. I can't overlook it. But he still ducked Margarito and Paul Williams and Keith Thurman. It is what it is. And I wasn't even trying to point that out. It was just the use of triangle theory. What we're trying to do now with figuring out who's fought the tougher competition, Zayas, Dron Ennis, or Virgil Ortiz, right? Because we know, even we said that before with Xander Zayas. Who had he fought? He really hadn't fought tough competition. Again, he got the belts, but they were kind of layups. Jorge Garcia Perez was a layup. The guy had 4 losses or something like that, and yeah, he had a solid win to get it, but it was still for a vacant title, So Zayas had never really fought a high caliber fighter. Canelo probably owns the building. I picked Pacquiao to beat Floyd, and he proved me wrong. Oh, yeah. Well, they said Pacquiao's shoulder was hurt. And again, these are things that have been argued to the end of time, But, Ben, we've been going 2 hours. I want to thank everybody. I think I'm going to call it a night, a wrap. It's I've been going 2 hours, man. I want to thank everybody, man. You guys have, Killer Monk was on here. And I think we did pretty good. We hashed out some things. Abdullah Mason, give him credit, respect. Yeah, man, it's always respect, man. You guys are hardcore boxing fans, and that's who I'm speaking to. And I respect you, having enough respect to even chat, right? Because the chat is the show. The show is the chat. We are nothing without the chat. I'd be speaking to a wall and a mic, and that's no fun. And yeah, people hit the link, they come up, and that's when you would have to super chat if I had super chats or Zelle, whatever people use. But most of the time I go through the comments because you guys have a lot of good things to say, even the haters, but I never dismiss a point. Never dismiss a point, because even in the hate, I'm a hater sometimes. People say I'm a hater, but I think I have a point, and I think you do too. So Floyd down bad. Yeah, man, I haven't really cooked on that. Yeah, we talked about David Benavidez, but let me get the shots out, man. More BC, Eric Gomez, Hannibal, Killer Monk was here. Who else? Blaze, CCD, Matador, More BC. Yeah, man, all the usual sus. Bones back, Skull Kid, BDA was here. Salute BDA, low key. Danny Medina, legal tender. And yeah, man, leave some comments. Leave the comments at the end of the video. Hopefully you liked it all. Peace. Yeah, peace. Hey, you need the haters, man. They keep it flowing. You need positive and negative. So with that, I will leave you with just some funnies or whatever. And yeah, man, it's a little slow, so I don't know when I'll be back, but I will try to be back if something big happens. But the next fight I think on the docket is you're no hate. You're not. I'd be trolling sometimes. The only next big fight is Pacheco Alim. And then it'll be Joshua and Tim Zoo. So, yeah, man, we out.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Stay focused.
Oh my God. Sorry. I just love a good roast beef sandwich.
Is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.